Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. We're doing live readings. This is a collective read. All right. Trying to figure out. Filter. All right. Well, welcome, welcome. We are doing a collective read. Spirit team, what do you have for the collective? What do you have for the collective today? For the highest good and benefit of all involved, please and thank you. Oh, there's one. There's one. What do you have for the collective day? For the highest good and benefit of everybody involved in tuning in or will tune in or will watch later. Please and thank you. Amen and amen. All right. 2, 3. Yeah, none of wands. It's actually not a bad card. You've really been working on your future, right? The collective I'm tuning into, it's not necessarily gender specific, right? But you've been working on yourself, right? You've got some accolades here, right, in the picture. Now, this is the Rider-Waite deck, but it's actually more artistic. It's like ravens or crows, right? And you've got the sun coming out. You've got palm branches. It makes me think of, Balm in Gilead, that type of song, type of thing. That may be a specific channel message for somebody. If you kind of like to go to, if you've ever listened to that song in church, that may have been a channeled message for somebody. But it's given palm trees in Jerusalem, when they laid down the palm trees for, Jesus in Jerusalem. That's the vibe I'm picking up on. So you've really been working on yourself. You've really been working on getting your bag, like getting your goals lined out, whatever that looks like to you. Now, this is a collective read. If you want more specifics or you want a personal read, the link tree is in my bio, and it's got all my options on there. It's like a gifting type of setup. You send in your gift or you send in your donation, and I'll actually get more personal to your situation, right? In the meantime, take what you like and leave the rest, right? So, yeah, congratulations. There's your accolades, right? You got the 9 of Wands. Now, what else do we got here? Page of Swords is upside down. You're having trouble cutting off the people you need to cut off, right? If you're liking what you see, make sure you're hitting the heart, show some love there. But this collective read, take what you like and leave the rest. But you're having trouble like cutting people off when you need to, right? Hey, Mike, how's it going, bro? Make sure you guys are hitting the heart, show the love, right? And we're doing a collective read right now. Now, if you want a more personal read, I will do those donation basis. The link tree's in my bio, and you click on it, and it's got my PayPal, Venmo, and all my options there, right? You just scroll down, it's right there. Just let me know in the chat if you've done that. That way I know to look for it, right? But so these are your cards so far. You've got the Nine of Wands. So congratulations on your accolades, but you know, you're having trouble, like when you're getting your accolades, here's the warning that they're giving me to give to the collective. People come around when they need something. I don't know if you've experienced that. I darn sure have, right? They come around when they smell money on you. They can smell it. You don't even have it in your pocket yet. It's not even landed in your bank account, and they smell it, right? They're giving you a warning with this one upside down, right? Know when to cut people off. Know when to swing that sword when you need to, right? Don't hesitate to cut somebody off if the only time that they come around is when they need something, or they're not there for you whenever you want to vent, or whenever you got things you need to talk about. The only time that they show up is when they need something. So you're getting your accolades. You got that Nine of Wands coming. You've been doing some hard work. You got the Nine of Wands coming, right? Make sure you're hitting the like. Thank you for everybody hitting like and sharing, right? I'm doing a collective read right now. But know when to cut people off if it's just a whole lot of, right? If the only time they come around is when you get your paycheck, that's a problem. It's a problem, right? Let's see what else. What else? We got the Knight of Swords, right? So if that's something that you've been working on, you're this one's in the future position. So this tells me that you're going to be doing some work on that, right? You're not quite there yet, because this is in your present position, right? This one's in your future position. So your Knight of Swords is he's moving on this picture, man. He got a horse, you got this bird with a sword in the air, and they're just hitting it and getting it, right? In the picture here. So you've also got Blue Jay in the picture, right? So that may be a signal for you. If you see blue jays in your yard, that may be, an ancestor or an angel visiting, right? Look for your signs and synchronicities. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. To make sure you're hitting the like. If the more little hearts I get, the better this gets out to people, right? Please and thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, Knight of Swords. So you're working on yourself now. You're working on your boundaries. You're working on cutting people off when you need to. The end result is going to be your Knight of Swords, right? You're going to learn when to move on and when to get people out of the way, right? What else? What else, Spirit Team? Oh, Queen of Swords. Girl, get that. Game of Thrones vibe, right? Swing it there, Cersei, right? Like that, it took the whole series to take that heifer out, right? It really did. It took the whole series to get that lady off the throne. And honest to God, if she would have moved a little faster, she still would have been on the throne. She could have come back and got her lick in, right? In my opinion, in the series, I don't know if y'all have ever watched it, but this giving Game of Thrones vibes, right? Queen of Swords, right? You know when to cut people off. You know when to say yes and no, and you've got that queen energy, right? So you're making progress here. So you started out here, the Page of Swords upside down. You've made progress to the Knight of Swords, right? You're making the shows, and the distant future, right? You're going to be the Queen of Swords, right? So you've got the Page of Swords starting out, and then you've got the Knight of Swords, which means you've made some progress on setting your boundaries, and you've made progress on, learning when to cut people off and knowing what to tell them, what not to tell them, that kind of thing. And this is not gender specific. You don't have to be a chick to feel this energy. This is some boss energy, right? You're standing your own, right? If the only time they come around is when you got a paycheck, This card tells me, okay, you've learned that lesson and you know when to cut people off, right? But you're getting all swords, right? You ready for a fight. Somebody ready for a fight tonight. All right. You've got the Nine of Pentacles upside down, so you are running into some money issues there. It's not quite exactly where you want it to be, right? This card's upside down, so it's not completely right side up in the energy there. You've got it upside down, so you're so focused on, you know, people and, you're so focused on the sword energy that, maybe some opportunities are slipping by. Don't be so focused over here on cutting people off and setting boundaries and stuff that you miss, um, that you missed the mark here with your bag. Now, if you want specific questions answered, you can do that on a donation basis. Go to the link tree in my bio, and I've got all my payment options there. You can, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, any of those are on there. Click on it, send in your gift, send in your donation, and I will get specific with your question. In the meantime, we're doing a collective read. Now, let me know in the chat if you actually do that. That way I can go check it and we can actually get you a personal read, right? But right now we're reading a collective until I see one of those ding. I've got my other device here, and it'll alert me whenever that comes through. All right. Now let's see what else they got. Oh, you've got decisions. Indecision. You got too many options. Pick one, right? So you've got so many opportunities and things that are going to be heading your direction. You're going to have trouble picking which one. I'm also seeing the word daydream. Hey, welcome. Make sure you're hitting the like, showing the love there. The more hearts I get, the more people can actually see this. Hey, it's nice to see you here, Ms. Shannon. Welcome. We're doing a collective read. Now, if anybody wants a personal read, I'm doing that on a donation basis tonight. So if you go to the link tree in my bio, it'll have all my payment options there. You can send me a gift and I will read a personal question for you. Or, whatever my spirit team has for you today. In the meantime, we're just doing a collective read. But yeah, indecision. You've got a lot of options and it's hard to pick, right? I get the impression this is people. I don't know why, but I'm getting more of an impression like you've got multiple suitors. Man, somebody don't want me to talk tonight. Alchemize and transmute all negative fear-based energy. Thank you for the energy. I stopped doing return to senders. Now I just alchemize your energy, right? There it is, right? So if they want to send energy my way, I'm going to transmute it into positive energy. That's a hot spiritual warfare tip for everybody tonight, right? Stop doing the return to senders are okay in their, maybe once a month or whatever, but the transmutation and alchemation, that works way better because you can pray it over your coffee, you can speak it over your candles, and it transmutes the energy from negative to positive. It's pretty cool. All right, so it's also given the vibe that you struggle when it comes to nutrition. I don't know who I'm tuning into here, but it's like not only are you struggling, like you've got multiple people who are interested in you. Maybe you got several people asking you out, or you've got, several job opportunities. But you're having trouble figuring out what you want in a person, in a mate. Also, you're struggling with your nutrition, right? It's saying, you go to the grocery store. I'm actually seeing somebody walking through a grocery store and there's so many options. You're like, gosh, I really want to eat healthy, but you know, what do I pick? And then you're checking price tags, and then you're like, gee, this is just too expensive. This is the person I'm seeing in my head, right? So make smarter choices, right? Your health could take a hit down the road. But it's saying when you're in the grocery store, make conscious decisions to improve your health, right? Just take baby steps, take it one day at a time. You don't have Rome was not built in a day, right? Go for that walk you wanted to do, right? Eat a salad this week. You don't have to change your whole diet around, right? You can start with small baby steps. I went from like 340 pounds and I'm down to 180 by taking baby steps, right? I lost all that weight by taking it one day at a time, one grocery store visit at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. When you're in a grocery store, you count backwards from 10 every time you get overwhelmed. And that's going to, at some point, you're going to reprogram I think you might, at some point, you're going to reprogram your brain to relax when you say the word 10, right? That's a self-hypnosis technique, right? You can actually train your brain when you say the word 10, 10, 10, bam, you can actually trigger your brain to relax in a crowded setting like a grocery store, right? Once you do that enough, you can train your brain to say the word 10 and you'll instantly relax. That's pretty cool. That's called self-hypnosis, right? But yeah, watch your nutrition. Make small steps to the goal that you wanna get to. And make a list of deep breathing, bro. Yeah, make a list of characters you want in a person. This is people miss the practicals, man. They're so concentrating on the cards, you miss the practical steps, right? Write down, get specific with your spirit team, the universe, Sky Daddy, source. Get specific with what you want to manifest in a mate, right? Do you want long hair? Do you want short hair? Do you want them to have their teeth? Like, get specific, right? I hate saying that, but I didn't get specific and I've got some pretty crazy stories. Like, now I ask, do you have your teeth? Right? Like they be on those apps and they put in a picture that's 20 years old, right? Figure out exactly what you're looking for, write it down. What type of career do you want them to have? Like the more specific you get, the more targeted your manifestations are going to be. Like I was just like, oh, I just want to make friends. Well, the people that were showing up didn't have teeth, they were broke, and they were narcissistic. And that started a whole downward spiral, right? So please be specific with your manifestations. Make sure you're writing them down, and these choices are going to be a lot easier to make, right? Right now, you're struggling to make choices. Well, start writing some of this stuff down, right? All right, the star, but she's upside down. You struggling with your self-confidence, right? This could be a dude too, right? I am big on I am now. When they show up online and they don't have no teeth and they ain't took no bath, that's a problem. That's a whole problem. Take a whole bath today. Spray some spray on it, you know, get some spray, some deodorant, and brush your teeth, please, before you show up in public. Praise the Lord today. But yeah. And make sure you're tapping on that heart button for me, buddy. That would be awesome. If you can do that, the more likes I get, the better this gets for people. Um, but yeah, the star's upside down, so we need it to be right side up, right? We need that confidence, that star energy. Right now, you're not feeling too confident. Maybe you got turned down on a date. I'm actually seeing somebody who got turned down for a date. It's okay. They were probably a spaz, right? I'll be honest. Like now, I thank my spirit team in the universe and Sky Daddy. I thank them for getting turned down. Right now, I do, because you don't know when that person's going to show up with no bath, no money, and no teeth. Like I promise that would have happened. Like, so they may have been preventing something from coming your way that you weren't supposed to go through or deal with, or a person you weren't supposed to deal with. So let's say you did a blind date, or you did like an internet dating, and that's the person I'm seeing. They did like some internet dates. Um, and this is a collective read, so this may be more than one person. I know you go through that, Mike, but this may be more than one person actually dealing with this. This is definitely more than one person dealt with rejection this week on a romantic level, right? Is okay. That person probably had 1,000 skeletons in a closet that you didn't know about, right? But your spirit team knew about it, and Sky Daddy knew about it, and he blocked it, right? But they're saying be confident in yourself. Just because somebody turns you down doesn't mean that you're not an awesome person. You're awesome. And I want you to tell yourself in a mirror every day, I'm awesome. You know, like look in the mirror and say, I love you. I am healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I am worth it, right? You need to say that in the mirror every day and start to believe it right here. Because the more you can radiate that confidence, then that's going to turn the star card the right way. It's going to start, that energy is going to start moving the right way. Right now, your confidence took a hit. They turned you down. But now you know, right? Now you have a better idea as to what you're looking for. You know, what would you, if they gave you specific feedback, take that with a grain of salt. But also, you know, sometimes the feedback is worth looking at, right? Like I had somebody tell me that, you know, they didn't like something about my shoes or my feet or something. It was really crazy, but it was a weird feedback to get on a blind date. But I was like, dang, maybe I do need a manicure or a pedicure, right? So there's that. So sometimes people are narcissistic and they just tell you stuff to get that reaction out of you, but sometimes maybe it is worth going to get the manicure, pedicure, and do the self-love and do all the things. Maybe that's, do it for you though. Don't do it for somebody else. Do the self-love steps for you. Feel good for you. Go out and have that dinner for you. Go get your nails done or your hair did or that nice suit, that new pair of shoes for you. Don't do it for somebody else, but that'll help you feel more like a star. In the meantime, start working on those confidence affirmations and then say it in front of the mirror. That's the message for the collective tonight that I've had, across the board is, do it in front of a mirror. It kicks your manifestations up a couple of notches. A lot of people will just say them out loud. That's okay, but try doing it in front of a mirror and see how that hits. And I always tell people, do it in as if you've already had it. For example, I will say, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise, and I am worth it. Now that's as if I've already got it, right? Now I may not feel healthy, wealthy, and wise today, but you are signaling your spirit team that you're doing the work, and you're ready to bring in those blessings, right? You're signaling them that you're ready when you're saying it like that, right? Ooh, Ace of Wands, right? New possibilities, new beginnings, new love. You might be getting some some booty, right? You may actually be, I'm actually seeing that, right? Maybe they've got a nice magic wand, right? I've got a top coat on here. But yeah, maybe this person's got a nice magic wand. You worth it, right? I'm also seeing feathers and stuff here in this picture. So this person may actually live in a bigger city. Um, I'm actually seeing the word Chicago in my mind. So whoever this person is that I'm tuning into may have, then you may live in Chicago or you may know somebody in Chicago. Don't be shocked if that person reaches out for a date. Don't be shocked. I mean, they got a nice magic wand ready, right? Be safe, right? Do all the safe things. People are weird now. Like, do your vetting process. It's okay to write down what you want in a mate and start the vetting. Ask them targeted questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do it like a job interview, dude. Look that stuff up. Like, look up the psychology of, doing interview questions on a date. Like, that's a whole thing. I've got a friend that's just expert level at that. And I've like took some notes and, oh yeah. So if you want to do an actual reading, go to the link tree in my bio and you're going to send me in a donation. I'm doing donation readings tonight. No specific price tag. It's whatever you feel, right? So go to the link tree and then you've got my Cash App, my PayPal, my Venmo. That's all on there. You just click on the one that's going to work for you. Let me know in the chat that you've done it. That way I can actually go on my other device here and check it. And then we'll do a targeted one just for you. But yeah, it's not no specific price tag. It's whatever you feel led to give, right? But yeah, have fun with your magic wand. It's going to be a great date. Um, but yeah, just let me know in the chat if you decided to do that. Um, let's see what else. Now, this person is very metaphysically inclined, meaning they may actually be intuitive as well. That may be something that you're trying to, hey, this may be something that you're trying to manifest in a person, right? You maybe want somebody that uh, can actually get the messages in on a spiritual level, right? It's okay to ask for that. I've found it difficult to find somebody with that quality personally. That journey has been actually quite rough for me. But I feel like now that I'm in a higher vibrational mindset and I'm trying to get there, I may not be exactly where I want to be with that, but I am trying to get in a higher vibration to where that person can make their way to me, right? So that may be, you may be trying to, this person that you're talking to may also be very intuitively inclined. I see a dude actually, they've got a nice haircut. I see somebody specifically in my head that is really into emo haircuts. Like this person is giving Chris Angel vibes, right? They may even resemble this person, right? But that's the vibe that I'm getting. That's the person I'm getting in my head. Now, if you want specific question, make sure you're going to the link tree in my bio and send in your gift, right? It's donation basis tonight, so send in a donation and I will answer your question. That's in the link tree in my bio. I've got several pay options on there for that. But yeah, send in a gift. Let me know in the chat if you've done that. That way I can go check it. Sometimes the alerts don't come through, so definitely let me know in the chat if you decide to do the donation, and I will answer a personal question or get as targeted as you want, because my spirit team, I've been asked before, they get really targeted. I found one lady's sister that's been missing for 9 years. Last time I tried this, like I gave her coordinates from a map and they looked it up on Google Maps, right? So sometimes they'll come through with stuff like that. Don't be shocked if they put me right in the middle of your living room. But I'm actually tuning in right now. We're doing a collective. If you want to read out, it's the link tree in my bio, and there's no specific price tag. I do it on donation basis, right? Because I consider this more of like a, right now I'm just, trying this out, and I do this for my personal friends and I do it privately, but this is the really first time I've tried it on TikTok. Just, trying to get my sea legs on TikTok with this, but I'm definitely not inexperienced on this specifically. I usually just do private reads for my friends and family. But here we are. All right. But yeah, just let me know. All right. So, yes, somebody's getting ready to go on a date with an emo dude with a nice haircut. This person I'm seeing in my head is tall. They're about mid-30s, but they look like they've really taken care of themselves. They don't have a lot of wrinkles and stuff. This person is really into music, really into punk rock music. This person is, help me, spirit team. What else about this dude? This is a dude that's going to come. He's got a nice magic wand. He's going to come your way. I see him in my head, right? He's kind of like dark and mysterious, but like he's really into like punk rock and stuff. Whoever this person is, dang, I've got a whole person in my head I'm looking at. But yeah, have fun with your date. Be safe. Make sure you're looking up questions to ask your date. Don't miss the opportunity to vet the person properly. It's okay. They show up with no teeth and not having a bath. I've got some crazy stories I can share with y'all. Like they get on that app and they put in a picture that they're 20 years older than their picture when they show up. They've got a beer belly and they haven't taken a bath. I've got some crazy stories. It's sad. Like, do the things, put on the lotion, take a bath, and show up with your teeth brushed, right? God bless anybody doing online dating right now. My heart goes out to you, right? I've personally had enough of online dating for a while, right? And that's why I tell people, make sure you're getting kind of targeted with your wish list. Now, if you want specific question answered, that's the link tree in my bio, and go ahead and send in your donation, and I will answer your personal question. It's a donation basis tonight, so I've got all the pay options on my link tree in my bio, and you send that in. Let me know that in the chat when you've done that, and I will answer an actual targeted. I can get pretty targeted. FYI, I've been asked where the camera's at before. People get freaked out. You know, my team's pretty tilted, right? I'm just kind of shy about it. I don't advertise it, but I can get pretty detailed with these. But yeah, if you want a personal readout or a specific question answer, we're doing a collective read. But if you want a specific question answered, that's the link tree in my bio. You know, all the pay options are there. Just send in a donation. All right. Send it. All right. Let me look. And make sure you're letting me know in the chat like she just did, like Miss Christie just did, because you'd be shocked at how much they just won't alert you to anything. Like, have fun with not getting any alerts today. Like, it's been a blast. There it is. I see it. All right. Oh, that's okay. I got you. All right, Christina. Now, I can get super targeted with no question at all. Now, some people really like to answer a specific question, but I'll be honest. I tell people, if you want to ask a specific question, go ahead in the chat, but I may avoid looking at the question for just a hot second and see if I can just read it, right? That's called a cold read. I've been trained to do that. I don't see a lot of readers doing that. I don't actually even need your name. I just need the energy, right? Now I will ask my spirit team what message they got for you, and it may actually just answer your question right off the bat without knowing the specifics. But now, if you want me to try to do that really quick, just to kind of demo how that works, kind of as a freebie tonight, like I don't see a lot of readers on here doing that, so I kind of want to demonstrate for the collective how that works. Plus, you know, you may get like double questions answered as a result there. So, and then if it doesn't answer the actual question you had, then put your actual question in the chat and I'll see if I can get more targeted. Because at the end of the day, even though it shows, you know, maybe like a few people watching, like the reality is you can have up to 900 plus people on here watching you without having to click a button, right? But thank you to everybody hitting like and share and all that fun jazz. But we're reading Miss Christie. All right, let me clear the energy. Selenite works wonders. Right, right, spirit team. What do you have for Miss Christie today? Miss Christina. What do you have for Miss Christina? The less you tell me, the better this works. FYI. I want people to know how authentic this really is. Right? We're pulling a. It's not a card trick, man. Like I can really read people, so I want to show my skills off a little bit. What do you have for Miss Christina tonight? What you got? I hear the word worry. That's coming through real clear, that energy. Let's see, what you worried about? I'm actually seeing a person. Right. Oh, it's love. You gotta love. You may have feelings for this person, and you wanting to know, you worry that they may not feel the same about you is what I'm getting. That's a good card. You got the Eight of Wands. So even though right now, this is what I'm getting without you putting any, I don't know if you put a question in there or not. Let me scroll up. All right. Yeah, I don't see it. So just without getting the specific question. Oh, I didn't mean to invite anybody. I don't know what button I clicked on, y'all. I'm showing my age tonight. This phone has been hard enough to operate. All right, but you did get the Four of Wands upside down, right? There's two lovers. So this is maybe giving a love vibe right now. I hear the word worry, and I actually feel your worry energy right now. So it's like you're wondering, do they like me? You're doing all the questions that you do when you really care about somebody really deep, and it's like, do they reciprocate? Are they taking me serious? Like, is there something else I need to do, right, to get this person's attention, to let them know how I feel? They know. They got a lot of stuff that they're dealing with, is what I'm picking up on. In fact, it's so much today they can't see the forest for the trees. You got the moon upside down. You do have the Page of Wands here, so you will be getting a communication from this person. That is coming in. It is a love communications because it's a wand. He may have a magic wand for you there. Okay. But I'm actually feeling like the energy I'm tuning into with this person, it's going to be a serious chit chat. They're going to be like, okay, here's the things that need to change. Here's the things that I like. Here's the things I don't like. Here's my boundaries. And they're just going to let you know their boundaries. They will at some point get to the point to where they can actually have that conversation with you, Miss Christina. The moon is upside down, meaning there's a lot of things at play here on the spiritual that it's kind of mysterious, right? But things are going to be revealed soon, right? So this one's upside down, meaning if it's right side up, typically for me, that's my signal. Like, everybody reads these different, but if it's right side up, that's typically like, okay, there's a mystery surrounding the situation. You're not seeing all the facts, but you got it upside down, which tells me that's my signal for, you know, things are going to start being revealed to you that you had questions about. Did he cheat? Does he have another person? Well, there may be. I am seeing another female's energy, but I don't know if this person is necessarily like intimate with him or whatever you want to say the words, because I've got to kind of filter what I say here because they'll clock it in heartbeat on here. So this is upside down. So there may have been a fight. You talking to that lady, you're talking to that dude, whatever the energy, it's not gender specific here, right? I pick up the energy. I'm not necessarily focused on their gender. But right now that's upside down. But you got this card right side up. This is a good card. This is the Eight of Wands. That means swift actions coming. Some good times are coming, right? These are wands. These are not swords, right? So the wand suit is like love and like, energy and creative energy and that kind of thing. So don't be shocked if they have a whole game plan in their head. Hey, you want to go for a walk? You want to go for a hike? Do you want to take a trip? Maybe we should take a vacation and just get away, me and you. Don't be shocked if this person, actually asked you like on a date or let's plan a trip or something. So let me know feedback. Did I get it in the ballpark? I know I kind of did it backwards. A lot of people put their question in the chat, but I like to do a cold read. I've been trained to do cold reads, and I like feedback. Did I get it in the ballpark? I'm a big girl. If I didn't hit, I feel like I hit the target, but let me know if I didn't. But these are your cards. I felt like it was maybe a love-centric readout. But let me know if you have an actual question there, Christina, that I didn't target. Nice. Shazam. So that's called a cold read. I don't see a lot of readers on here doing that. I've had a lot of instruction. I've actually went to school. I've kind of been shy about getting on here and doing this. I do this really privately, more for my friends and family, and I've got like a private business going with that. But my spirit team wants me to make a bit of a shift, to do this more openly. I got the green light in a dream yesterday to do this more openly and demonstrate what a cold read actually looks like. Because the big thing I see on here, people will put all their stuff in the chat, and that doesn't leave anything for me to actually read. Right? I'm very keen on energy, and if you give me everything in the chat, that may prevent me from getting something critically, psychically for you that you may need right now. doing the cold read method, I have had people freak out. I have had 2 minutes. Okay, so you kind of decide, okay, well, you're going to be getting information that's going to help you make that decision. I am getting that. Like, the mystery will finally be revealed. You're going to be getting some information. Don't be shocked when that information comes in. Just get your notepad out. And yes, keep working on it. Your instincts are solid. Keep working on those. Get your paper out, get your journal out, and start journaling about, what you're looking for in a mate. Things that are no-fly zones, like things you just will not compromise about. Get all that in a journal and start journaling that, because I had to do that before I really figured out. And after a ton of online dating disasters later, I finally figured out, okay, I like dudes that brush their teeth. And you can get petty, guys. If you don't, I'm seeing a tall person, actually. The word tall is standing out to me. But each one, so with each dude, I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to write down the qualities you like, qualities you don't like, things that you're not willing to compromise on, so that when they actually reach out to you, you have all that stuff ready. Keep an electronic journal, whatever. You can do them electronic now, easier than pen and paper, but I'm old school. I like pen and paper. But start writing this stuff down and really getting a game plan as to what you're looking for in a mate. And that will really help when you're faced with this person or that person. Because I had 3 at one point that were, circling around, I felt like I was that dude in the boat in the movie and the sharks are circling around. I felt like I was that person for a while, and how you're feeling there on that. And I had to analyze, okay, this person has these qualities I like, but this is a no-fly zone. Like, one person had like a gambling issue, that was a no-fly zone for me. I was like, I don't want to have to deal with losing a paycheck every time you have an episode, right? So that was a non-compromising thing that I wouldn't compromise on, and they didn't like the feedback. So unfortunately, that kind of ended, that specific relationship. But then 2 more other people showed up, and it was like, okay, then I had to vet them. Okay, one dude works a lot, but then yeah, well, that's weird. I don't know why. I was just like, I want to tell her about the dude that gambled. But yeah, it may not be a self-sabotage as much as it is like not realizing your actual worth is what I'm seeing. So start working on your self-worth, start working on your self-esteem, and realize that you are worth it, and you can manifest that person that you see in your head. If they don't exactly line up with everything, some things may not be 100%, but like some things like a gambling issue, that's a real problem that you're going to have to really deal with, right? So I would sit down and really think about, these persons, their qualities, their characters, what they've got going on, what their vices are, and can you handle that long term? That's just practical steps, not necessarily a psychic thing, but I've done a ton of therapy and went through a ton of crap. And, it does work, right? There's a whole process my therapist had me go through with that. Every dude I date now, I vet them with a piece of paper and a pen, and I start writing down what I'm liking, what I'm not liking. Oh, and you got this one pop out of the deck real quick. The Fool, which means you will be starting, maybe meeting a new person, possibly. Like, you may actually have somebody new cross your path, right? You may not like either dude. You may have a third person swing in and be like, hey, don't be shocked if you in the supermarket and that person just swings by. But work on that, because that will prevent you're going to get a bunch of karmics coming in to work on your spirit team will send you a bunch of dudes in that's not quite what you want to build your character. So I would be very cautious about getting in serious relationships while you're dealing with that specific fear, because that can manifest into a bunch of random dudes or chicks, whatever you float your boat, roll in your direction. And I said no, but question it. Keep talking to the line guy. Keep talking to him. Dudes don't care if you're single. They really don't. They ask that. They don't care. Newsflash. Most of them do not care if you're married or not. They really don't. Keep talking to the long guy. Vet him. He probably knows that you are, so he's probably stalked all your socials. He's probably looked at all your socials. If he got up the nerve, dudes don't get up the nerve to ask you. So if he got up enough nerve to ask you, he's already stalked all your socials and read your Google profile. Right, is what I'm getting. This dude may actually really like you, but just vet him. Ask questions. Hey, you want to go for a coffee? What things do you like to do? Hey, man, you like movies? What movies you like? Just start asking random stuff and try to vet the person. But that helps. But definitely, start journaling some of those fears and things, and, start doing what they call shadow work. They've got those journals all over this app, and therapists actually use a different version of that. They use more of a souped up version of that. I went through that too. Get you one of those journals if you can and work through it and start doing some what they call shadow work. That's your working on your psyche, working on your head, and that'll help with yep. So, that'll help with the fears, right? My fear, I kind of give you an example of how this works, because this is maybe a moment for the whole collective too. So I call those postcard moments. So it may not just be Christy that's having this question or having the fear of being alone, but that's something I've dealt with for years. And my therapist, what we worked on for me was I was too old to date. That was a fear in the back of my head, right? I'm 41, and I would tell myself, okay, who wants to date somebody 41 years old, right? And I would have these negative self-talk moments, and I had to basically get down to the basics with a notepad, and I wrote down what feelings I felt when I told myself that. So did I feel fear? Did I feel anger? Did I feel frustration? Did I feel sadness, depression? I had to write all that down. I had to rate my level 1 to 100 on how I felt. So depression might have been 50%. Anger might have been 80%, right? You have to write all your emotions down and rate them. Then you're going to ask yourself about 10 different questions. Will this scenario stand up in a court of law? That one's one that my therapist asked me. She's like, if you were standing in front of a judge and you told the judge, I'm too old to date, what would they tell you? Well, you've got people on TV over 70 dating and looking real good in the process, right? So the thought is an unnecessary fear that wouldn't really stand up in reality, right? So you have to write that down too. If you can't prove it in a court of law or you can't prove it in reality, then it's a fear. Okay, now that you've established through that process that that's a fear that you're dealing with, or that's a negative mindset that you're dealing with, then you're going to write down what can you tell yourself instead. So I had to think of what I could tell myself instead of I'm too old to date. Now I say I am healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise, and I am worth it. I am worthy to have my mate that I want. I'm worthy to have that dude that I'm manifesting, right? I tell myself that instead, and I wrote it down. Then, as I tell myself that, and you speak it out loud, that works. I would recommend speaking it out loud. Feel how that feels in your body, right? Actually do some body work there. I do healing services too, by the way. And I tell people do a body scan when I'm doing the energy healing. I tell them do a body scan real quick, like do your hands, warm up your energy centers, and start scanning your body when you're feeling those emotions. Where's it hitting you on your body? What does it feel like? Do the shadow work, change the negative to a positive, and then do that again. Rub your hands together and then do the body scan again, and then see how that hits the second time around, and see if you don't feel different shift in your body, because it could be manifesting as a health issue as well. I'm actually picking up on a possible issue you may deal with in your body as a result of all the worry and stress, maybe like bubble guts or something related to that. IBS or something is what I've got the image in my head, right? So definitely the more shadow work you do, the better that's going to improve, because your emotions can definitely affect your physical body too. So I hope that helps. I return your energy back to you. with love, light, healing, hope, peace, and joy and success. Amen. All right. Now we had several people in the chat. I was busy reading her and was not really focused. Now there was several people that might have put a question in the chat. We are technically doing a collective read. How we're doing it is donation basis. If you want a personal read like I did for Miss Christie, put in the donation, and I will read the energy and tell you what I get. Now, I do a process called cold read. I do not ask a bunch of questions. In fact, I don't want you to tell me your scenario at all. Zero. Don't even tell. You can tell me your name is Bob. Okay, Bob. You know what I mean? Like, I want to read you from flat zero energy. Like, that's how I've been trained to do it. It's more accurate. It proves that I do have the psychic ability that you're looking for and can pull that. You know, I've got a connection to my spirit team and can actually pull the accurate information versus fishing or doing a survey or, you know, tell me about your scenario. No, don't tell me nothing. This is the unsolved mysteries tonight. Start the music, right? Like, I am that person. I've been kind of like throttling back on this, but I got the green light from my spirit team to start doing some of these and start demonstrating that skill set, because I don't see a lot of readers on here doing that. I see a few that can do that, but I don't see a lot of people getting on here and doing what they call a cold read on somebody's energy. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback, Miss Christie. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Let me see. Clear the energy. Light some more incense here. Right. I like this one, the St. Michael incense. I just really like the smell of incense, y'all. It's good. But yeah, we're doing a collective read tonight. The less you tell me, the better. Hey, Kevin. I have an ability called cold read. I don't see a lot of readers on here doing that. I don't want to know anything about your scenario. I want to talk with my spirit team and get the information for you without you having to tell me anything. That's how a psychic reading should look like. Right? So I'm clearing the energy. If you're wondering what I'm doing, you can cleanse several ways. You can do a smoke cleansing. You can take a bath in salt, Epsom salt or sea salt or table salt. If you don't have nothing else, hey, Kevin, make sure you guys are doing your cleanses processes, you know, because people absorb energy and negativity. All right. And I'm going to clear now your decks. You want to make sure that you're clearing the energy in your decks too. Right? All right. Let's continue. What else do you have for the collective tonight, Spirit Team? For the highest good and benefit of everyone involved in watching, what additional messages do you have for the collective tonight? Please and thank you. I appreciate all the likes, all the shares, all the follows. It means a lot. And I do a process called cold read. So if you actually do send in a donation and you do want a personal read, don't tell me anything. I'm legit. Like, don't tell me a darn thing. Your name's Bob or John Doe, right? Don't tell me nothing, right? FYI. If they're intuitive, they should be able to cold read you. You shouldn't be taking a 5-point survey to do a readout. I've had a lot of instruction. Let's hit it and get it, right? And I do get targeted information, so FYI, you know, just FYI on that. I've been asked where the cameras are before. All right. Somebody's getting a message. Somebody's got a court case. I'm actually seeing the word court case and I see justice, but I'm actually seeing them in a courtroom. Tell me more, Spirit Team. Now, I may be tuning into one person's energy, but this may apply to more than one person. So on a collective read, you take what you like and you leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate, it may not be your energy I'm picking up on, but this person I'm seeing is going to be getting a message. I'm not getting a yes or a no as far as a positive or negative on the message. It is to do with legal matters. Tell me more, Spirit Team. Right now, you're kind of upside down in a legal struggle, whoever I'm tuning into. You have some really good energy, though. Like, it says Queen of Wands, but this doesn't have to mean a female. It could be just the energy. This is the energy that's coming through. This is a groovy energy. This person may actually be have fire in their chart somewhere. They may have Leo in their chart somewhere. It could be spiritual court. Absolutely. It could be physical or spiritual. And you know, you've maybe called judgment on somebody, perhaps, and at face value, it doesn't look like it's going too well. But the cards actually look really good. Now, you're also getting, whoever this is getting the moon upside down. If it's right side up, that means there's a mystery and there's things being shielded from your knowledge that, for whatever reason, spiritually, mentally, physically, they're not showing up right now in the physical, right? You're not getting the memos spiritually. Something's being shielded from you. But now this is upside down. So that tells me, now everybody reads these cards different. You got to learn your communication with your spirit team. But this is upside down, meaning things are going to be revealed. You've got some serious questions. And tell me more. Give me some specifics here, spirit team. What we got? You want to know if somebody's working mojo. Somebody wants to know, did they specifically work mojo on you? Because I'm seeing this one's got a whole, it looked like a whole eyeball staring back at you. Like, I don't know if you can see down at the bottom. It looked like an evil eye right there on that pyramid in the picture. But at Page of Wands, you're going to be getting a message coming through. They're watching you. I'm not necessarily picking up on any negative mojo. You've also got the Ace of Wands here. So this is going to be a positive message. Tell me more. Let me shuffle this again. These cards ain't shuffling. Let me shuffle this again. I'm going to pull the same cards because I didn't shuffle them enough. All right, there we go. Making sure I'm shuffling. Oh, there we go. Ooh, what do we got? Let's see what we can do with the slower. They got a lot to say. Okay, we got King of Swords coming through with the Queen of Wands. Okay. The Star is right side up, so you've got some really good confidence. Queen of Cups. That may be the other female that you're, if you're, if you're wondering, okay, did this person, is there more than one female that they're talking to? The other one is a water sign. But they're also in their queen energy. So there's that. He's a King of Swords, right? You're Queen of Wands, so you got all the mojo in the universe, and probably are a bit intuitive yourself, is what I'm picking up on. This is like a judgment scenario. I'm actually seeing like child support is the word I'm seeing. So whoever I'm tuned into, it may actually be, did this person, are they going to have to pay child support? Are they paying I'm here seeing the word child support written in the air. So whatever it is, it may actually be not only a spiritual matter, but it may also be like something physical manifesting as like this person may need to pay, like look at their finances, or they may have gotten another person pregnant or something. One of them scenarios. Let me see if I can tune into that. They all over the map. Good grief. Let's see. Justice is upside down. That needs to be right side up. The Ten of Pentacles is upside down. The Devil. Yep, they were tempted, right? The Devil card's right side up, so that person does have they got a roaming eye is what I call that, where their eyes roam around the room to all the different options they have, right? They do have an issue. The person I'm tuning into does have an issue with their spending. they have an issue budgeting. They will spend on whatever, whenever, and they don't care. They're not feeling a budget. And this has, unfortunately, landed them in legal trouble. They've got a spending habit to the point to where they're not taking care of their responsibilities, and has landed them in legal trouble. Your energy, however, the other person's energy, you got good energy. Like, you're the Queen of Wands. You may actually have fire in your chart somewhere. And you know how to manifest and move things on a spiritual level, but free will is free will, and people do stupid stuff, right? So this guy is a King of Swords, but he has another person he talks to that is a water sign. This person is maybe an artsy kind of person. You are actually showing up as the star energy, so you've got a lot of confidence. You've got a lot of like, you know your worth, mental, physical, spiritual. Yep, okay. And that may intimidate a dude that, especially if this guy has an air sign. Like, if he's an air sign, I've noticed they really get in their feels with that. Like, even though they're air signs, like, they can really take that personal. And sometimes if you got that boss lady energy, that can back a dude off a little bit, because sometimes it's about like a mental thing to where they feel like they have to be the one pursuing. I don't know if they're hardwired that way. I don't know. Like, I would love to dive into the psychology there on that one, but sometimes people need to feel like they're pursuing something, or there's a mystery, or you know, maybe the boss lady energy might have been too much for this person to handle. Now, that's not saying that you need to shine less. That means you need to keep being you, because the justice card is upside down. I don't think that's for you. I don't think that's for the person with the question. I think that's for the other person that I'm reading the other party's energy. He's not going to get his cake and eat it too. If it's a he energy, right? I'm reading the energy. Now, this may not be gender specific. It could also apply to a female and a male energy, right? It's the energy I'm reading, not necessarily the person or their gender. But they're not going to have their cake and eat it too. They're going to have to make some hard choices. Yeah, he you don't need that. There's always somebody. I tell people, it's not just, I wish they would quit saying you've got one soulmate. No, you've got a collective group you have a soul tribe, and they will send another one and another one and another one and another one. I have experienced this myself, right? And they will all connect on some level. They will all connect. You've got to figure out what your, hold on, let me do my little puzzle piece here. Oh, here we go. I got to prove I'm not a robot. Here we are. There we go. Sorry. Yeah. You got that boss lady energy. Like, he's not, some dudes really take that personal, and it may say that he may have some narcissistic tendencies that may be under the surface that you don't really necessarily want to deal with either. Right? So there's that. Let me reset these cards and see if, let me pull a different deck here, because these are not love specific. I've got a love deck that's better. This is a much better deck for love, right? Clear the energy out of these. Uh, Now, if you have a specific question, um, you have a specific question, and I'm doing a collective read, and this may resonate for more than one person listening. Take what you like and leave the rest. Now, if you have a specific question, I do donation basis, and I do a process called cold read. I actually don't. I like confirmations to know that my intuition's on target, but don't tell me the information in advance. I want to be able to pull it out of the ether and my spirit team, and to show you guys, okay, like, there's a skill set here. Like, intuitive should be able to do a cold read. They shouldn't have to do a 12-point survey to read your energy. If they're doing that, then I would red flag that for real. But I do a process called cold read. I don't really need anything about you to be able to read the energy. They should be able to do that. If they're on here reading cards, they should be able to do that. And I haven't seen a whole lot of them that can do that. So don't tell me anything about your scenario until after. Like if you're confirming it, that's different. Like if I hit the target and you're confirming, that's different. But don't tell me the information in advance. It makes the reading much better. And it gives you confidence knowing I'm actually seeing something. Now, free will plays into this a lot. You can make one decision and change the card. So please keep that in mind. I'm reading an energy snapshot. Energy flows. It's fluid, like Physics 101, energy transfers. It doesn't stop. You can transition it to another type of energy, or you can reroute the energy somewhere else, but energy is kinetic, right? So with that being said, you can make one decision and the kinetic energy will flow a different direction. So keep that in mind. And with any reading you get from anybody, one decision will change the cards. So FYI, I'm just giving you a snapshot, that kind of thing. All right, let's see what we got with love. Love is in the air. Somebody might really actually like Wayne Newton. I am hearing that song. I do not listen to that person's songs. I've got 3 songs tonight. The first one was I'm Leaving on a Jet Plane. Yeah, somebody might be doing some traveling. The second song was Love is in the Air. I think that's Wayne Newton. And then there was a third song, but I don't remember what the third one was. But yeah, if you want to send in a donation and you have a specific question, I'll do that. But how I did the previous reading was they sent in their donation and I said, okay, don't show me anything ahead of time. Let me see if I can hit the target. And then if I don't hit the target, then you can ask the question. I can see if I can tune into the question better. Because some people can really shield your energy and it's hard to pick it out either, right? Yeah, if you do send in a donation, don't just put your question in the chat right away. Let me see if I can read the energy first. And then if I don't hit it, don't exactly the question you're having, then feel free to put it in the chat because you did send in a donation, right? But yeah, I do mine a little different. Let's play charades. All right. Ooh, wake it up. Selenite works wonders. Now, I do have my little metaphysical shop that I do soaps. I do bar soaps. I do bath soaks. They are already pre-soaked in water and ready to go. You just pour them in the bath. And then I also do candles, metaphysical candles. So check that out. It's in the link tree on my bio. I also do energy healing services. You don't like the cards, you can change it because energy is kinetic, right? And do some energy healing. All right, here we go. Love read. What we got? Oh, no second chances. Damn. Okay. So this person is not getting a second chance. They may come around and ask for a second chance, but they're not going to get it, right? If they choose, like it's one of those things where if you're in your boss energy and they choose someone else over you and they're not keen enough to see your energy and for who you are, then they really don't deserve a second chance. And I don't blame you for not giving them a second chance. Yeah, give them the boot. You've done some inner growth and healing. I love this deck because there's no confusion with it. It's pretty clear cut on the card. Inner growth, right? You're working on your stuff. You're working on your self-esteem. You're working on your self-love. You're working on your self-worth. Feeling comfortable being by yourself. That kind of stuff. You're realizing the grass is greener, and there is a possibility that even though you may have, several people you talk to, the grass is always greener. It can be greener with the possibilities there, right? So there may be somebody that you haven't met yet that may be a better fit for you. So like I've been saying tonight, get your journals out, start writing down when you meet these people online and when you start dating these people, vet them properly, just like a job interview, right? Write down what you like about it, what you like about them, what you don't like, what boundaries you're not willing to cross. Make sure you have that written down somewhere. That way, when you're on that date, and they show up, and I've had some crazy stories, y'all. I could have story time tonight. Like, they'll show up with no teeth, no bath, one sock mismatched, like crazy stuff, smelling crazy, and their pictures, 20 years younger than what they actually look like, and they're missing, the top of their head's missing hair. Like, I've had them show up like that, right? And I'm like, dude, are you for real? Like, that picture don't look like you. Like, it's okay to speak up for yourself in a nice way, because remember, people's feelings are there, but it's okay to be like, look, this is a nice date. I'm not feeling a second date. It's okay to tell somebody that, and they got to be okay with you not not giving them a second chance there, right? So I believe in soul tribes. I don't think you just have one soulmate. I think if one doesn't fit because they may not be doing the legwork, they haven't done the work, and they haven't done their shadow work, but you have, and you're not quite an energetic match, your team will send you another one. They do it with me all the time. Because who wants to date? A lot of people are not comfortable dating somebody intuitively inclined. I can see in your living room sometimes. I don't want to. My spirit team will show me what you had for lunch sometimes. Like, it's frustration. I have to actually tell them, look, I'm working I'm working here, right? Like, I don't necessarily want downloads all day, right? They will give them to me all day sometimes anyway, but it's okay to ask your spirit team to pump the brakes if they give you an overstimulus of information. You're trying to do something, be like, hey, I'm not feeling this right now. I've got to work, or I've got to pick up the kids, or I got to do this, and I need to focus. Like, it's okay to let your spirit team know, because they've been human. Maybe they were human once, or maybe they've never been human. It's okay to remind them that you're a human being on the planet Earth. You need to take a pee break. You need a nap, and it's too much stimulus. It's okay to tell your team that. Feel free. I know I do. Now, here's the good news. You're going to find love. Strong affection is what this is saying, right? So there is love in your future, but you need to go through the vetting process. Don't just settle for the first person because you're lonely. Does it match your criteria? If it doesn't, keep it moving. The grass is greener. I promise. They send me people all the time. I'm like, you know, I've got a specific target in my head, and if it's close, then I will spend time with that person, and I will get to know them a little bit better. I realize not everybody's 100% with my target that I've got in my head, but I will vet them. I'll do a couple of dates, and I'll be like, okay, let's see how they handled this scenario. Let's see how they handled that scenario, and actually vet the person properly. Um, Insecurity, self-esteem. So this is hard when you're going through dating life. If you let that bleed through into negative commentary all day, then that will affect your manifestations in a negative way. Like, for example, for love specific, because this is like, we're doing like a collective read now. We're doing a collective read right now. This may resonate for more than one person. If you have a specific question you want me to answer, go to the link tree in my bio and send in a donation. I'm doing a donation basis tonight. If you send one in, I'll get very targeted with your scenario. But right now we're reading a whole group of people watching. So take what you like and leave the rest. Now, if you do send in the donation, make sure you let me know in the chat, because my phone, sometimes it'll give the alert, sometimes it won't. So let me know in the chat if you actually did that. Thank you for all the likes and shares. But yeah, it's a link tree in my bio. Check it out. It's got all my pay options on there and my metaphysical store. But self-esteem. They're saying, keep working on that shadow work process, meaning even if there are days that you wake up that you don't feel like that other card was like the two lions with the boss lady energy, the boss energy. If you're not feeling that every day, it's okay. Get in front of the mirror and actually tell yourself, I am healthy, I am wealthy, and I am wise, and I am worth it. Actually say that to yourself in the mirror. Now, people do that without the mirror. Try it with a mirror. It cranks up your manifestation a couple of notches. You're going to feel a shift in your body when you do that. Now, when you're doing manifestations and you're working on self-esteem, you may not feel it in your heart, yet when you do that. It's going to feel weird because your heart's like, really? That's, your heart's fighting your brain. That's your brain's out of sync with your heart, right? You're trying to get the two to synchronize, right? That takes time just sometimes, right? And then once you get that more synchronized, then that's when this is going to come in, right? Until then, you may have to go through the dating experience, because at the end of the day, we are on Earth School to learn. And the only way to do that sometimes is to go through the scenario, and you go in it like the NFL at the Super Bowl. Sometimes you don't hit it like a ballerina. Sometimes you will, like running it like the NFL at the Super Bowl versus a ballerina. I know I've had those experiences lately. I'm not perfect, right? I do have my moments. I'm a Scorpio, and I feel things on a real deep level, and I get in my feels. But insecurity, self-esteem. So work on your shadow work. Do it in front of a mirror. Get in front of the mirror and say, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wise, and I'm worth it. Now, I did that as if I already have those things. Now, I may not physically be healthy, wealthy, or feel wise, right? But we're gonna say it as if we already have it. Thank your spirit team for being able to pay your bills on time, even though you may not be paying your bills on time, right? Thank them anyway. Be like, thank you. I enjoyed paying my power bill on time this month. Thank you. I enjoyed being able to pay the internet bill on time and have money left over. Thank you. Now, you may not see that in the physical, but if you start phrasing it like that, that signals your spirit team, Sky Daddy, Source, whatever your belief system is, that signals that process for them to start bringing it, because that tells them that you're ready. You just told them you're ready when you say it like that, right? And you mean it with your whole chest. Then they're going to start bringing stuff in a little at a time. At first, they're going to test you first. That comes with a test, right? Once you get that signal across the cosmos, then that comes with a test, and we're on Earth School to learn. Now, somebody's in a no contact situation, that person will now be contacting you, right? Vet them properly. Just because they're contacting you doesn't mean they've done the shadow work. You need to vet them to see if they've done it, right? How are you feeling about yourself? Have you, how's your family doing? If they come out with the gloom and dooming, that's a low vibrational energy and will bring your manifestations down. They need to be in the ballpark of your vibration, right? So they're going to be contacting you. If there's somebody in a no contact, they will be making an effort to make contact. That doesn't mean that they've done the shadow work. You need to vet the person. Healing, releasing came through upside down, right? Is there some things that you need to work on yourself and heal and release? Go ahead and be doing those. Get in your bath time. Go get like walks in the park. Get grounded. Like actually go hug a tree. It sounds weird, but it works, right? I'll be looking crazy in the yard out here hugging trees. I got a big tree in the yard. I'll get out there and hug it. It grounds you, right? If you start feeling like spaced out or stuck or whatever, get outside in nature, do a walk. Like the days are getting longer. It's still like right now it's still light outside. I'm actually getting ready to go do my little evening walk and get grounded myself, right? It's fun. No specific agenda when you do that. Some people get out there with a specific agenda to hear from the cosmos. Try doing the opposite in your meditations this week. Try not trying for a specific agenda. I bet it cranks up a couple of notches on you, because then you're opening up your third eye process, right? If you come in it with a specific agenda, sometimes that will cut off your intuition, right? That's how I'm able to do something. It's a process called cold read. I don't need anything about you to be able to read your energy. And if they're good at reading energy, they shouldn't either, right? Now, sometimes the information gets too detailed and I've got to tell them to slow down, right? I remember one time we actually found a lady's missing sister. We did find her, maybe not in the way that she wanted to find her, right? So sometimes I do get those informations coming through. FYI, it comes in how it comes in, right? Channeled songs for the day. If this is for anybody, I don't know who these songs are for. I'm leaving on a jet plane. It's an old school song from like the 70s. I'm leaving on a jet plane. So somebody may be doing some traveling, right? That was song number 1. Song number 2 was Love is in the Air. And they may actually like Wayne Newton. I do not listen to that music. So that's definitely a channel message for somebody. Have fun with that one. And then there was a third song, but it flew out of my brain. I didn't write it down. That's my bad. It'll swing back around if it's meant to be for this collective. I did a reading on the tubing of the U, and it was 3 songs that pulled through, and those are the 2 I'm remembering now. So I'm assuming that third song doesn't meant for you guys. So, but yeah, that's the reading for the night. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down for the night. I'll be doing these more often. I do a process called cold read. I don't need anything about you. In fact, I don't want to know. Don't tell me nothing. Not a thing. You John Doe, you Jane Doe, and don't tell me a name. Like, not one iota of information. I promise you're going to be shocked at what comes through, right? So I'm going to be doing those types of readings, right? I want y'all to know that I'm getting it right from the source, not some mumbo jumbo process where you got to do a questionnaire and 10 questions and a survey. Are you psychic or not, right? I've done this for years. I've never been public about it here. My spirit team's given me the green light to go ahead and be more public about it. But I've done this for 30 years. Just some background on me. I did go through my dark night of the soul a couple of times with spirituality. I actually went to seminary school, right? I did that for 8 years. I've been trained to do ghost busting. I can't say certain words on here. They flagged the video. But I've been trained to do Ghostbuster stuff, official training. And then I had, an awakening and a dark night of the soul, when my mom transitioned, I noticed I had some really unusual activities happening on a psychic level. And I was like, I need to understand this because they don't quite cover certain things in seminary school with that, right? And I'm like, what is this? Because it's authentic. Like, it was really her coming through in dreams and stuff. And I needed to understand it better. And so then I had to go on my whole another spiritual journey to understand it. So here we are. So I got a lot of skills. I've had a lot of instruction. I also hung out with a Native American group years ago. It's the Painted Mountain Intertribal Community. I'm a part of their community in Tazewell County. They haven't had a powwow since COVID. I don't know why. They haven't had it since then. So hopefully they'll get that fired back up again. But they've got a lot to teach too. Hopefully they'll continue that. But I've learned from them for about 4 years. Went through seminary school for like almost 8 years. And then I went through Ghostbuster school for like 3-4 years. And I've actually trained teams. So here we are after my mom transitioned, now I've just had a dark night of the soul and some transitions with that because they don't cover certain scenarios with that type of training. They don't tell you, okay, well, how do you handle mom coming through in a dream and giving you information only she knows, right? They don't tell you how to handle that. So I had to do some more research and discovered, okay, I've really got some skill sets. And one of those is to do a cold read. I don't need anything about you to be able to read you. It's that specific. I actually found a lady's sister. She was on a missing persons list. I got coordinates. Sometimes they'll pop through coordinates. They'll actually pop through map coordinates. I've had them do it. The 2 songs that I'm remembering, channeled message songs, are I'm Leaving on a Jet Plane, old school song from the 70s, and then Love is in the Air, and I think that's Wayne Newton or some song I don't listen to, but that's a message for somebody. I did a reading on the tubing of the U earlier. You can go check that out. The link trees in my bio. It also has my metaphysical store. I do candles. I do soaps. I do bath soaks for spiritual cleansing processes because it's crazy here lately. Take your spiritual maintenance specific. But yeah, I will post a replay of this on the tubing of the U, right? That way, if you missed the collective read, I'm getting ready to shut it down because I've been at it for about almost 2 hours. And this will be on a replay. I'll download it to my other social, the tubing of the U, and you can watch the replay and see if one of the messages are for you. But yeah, I return everybody's energy back to them. Love, light, healing, peace, hope, and success this week. Remember to get outdoors. vet your people. If you're doing online dating, the online message tonight is vet your people. Start asking questions like a job interview. How do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, what does your ideal date look like? Start Googling some questions like that you can ask on dates to actually vet people properly, right? If they show up 20 years older than their picture, that's a red flag. If they show up with no bath, that's a red flag. If they show up with no teeth, that's a red flag. It's okay to say, hey, I'm having a great time, but I'm not feeling another date. It's okay to set boundaries, guys. That's the message tonight. Maybe we'll do a story time next week. I've got some fun war stories with my dating experiences lately, and they're jokes. But yeah, we'd be on here 3 hours with story time. Y'all might like that. But have a good night. Be blessed. Thank you.